Hey everyone, it is Wednesday, October the 4th. We are getting a frost on Sunday evening I think it is, going into Monday. If we get a heavy enough frost, I know it is going to kill these green bean plants. This is my second planting of Blue Lake bush green beans, and they are beautiful. They're full of blooms. They do have beans on them, so I'm getting ready to pick some beans for supper tonight. When the frost does hit, I will be trying to cover these to see if I can save them because they do have so many blooms on them. Yes, I planted them a little late, but I was really wanting to get some more beans so that I could can to have meals for winter. I didn't get enough with the first row, so I went ahead and planted late anyway in hopes that I would get enough. And I think as long as I cover them, getting over this frost that's coming in, we're supposed to have some warmer days after that, may give me more time. So now I am going to see how many I can get for a meal tonight. Alright, I picked enough for me and my husband to have a meal tonight. Just enough for us. I picked the biggest beans off this little bit right here. That's all I picked through to find the big ones. And I still have all of this. So that's actually a lot of beans for just those few when I just picked the biggest ones. Look at all the little beans, the blooms. Oh, I hope it doesn't frost real bad so I can save these. I'll be able to get so many more beans and be able to can some. And of course, hi little girl. She's sitting in the shade. Now my original bean row is right through here. It does have some weeds to it. You can see they're all brown, but I've let them dry. And I'm going to seed save all of these. So I'll be coming out here before we get any rain, and I'm going to collect all these and seed save, and I won't have to buy any beans for next year. Alright, so now I am going to cook these green beans fresh from the garden. So I have snapped and washed my fresh green beans, put them in my pot. I'm going to add some water, and just enough water to cover these because I'm going to boil them quick for just a couple of minutes and rinse that off. Not everybody may do this, but this is what my mom and my grandma did, so this is what I'm going to do. So we are going to turn the heat on high to get that going. And if y'all can see, these beans are just beautiful. There's no blemishes, nothing. They're perfect. I love them. Alright, we are at a boil, and I'm only going to let this go for about a minute. My granny used to call this cooking the green out of it, and for her that just meant making sure that they were clean and you got little things off of them, because you can see right here there's a little piece, little stuff will float up when you boil them like this just for a minute, and there will be a foam that pops up around. And that's what my granny was getting rid of when she did this with hers. They are boiling to the point where I want them to boil. Now I will take these off the stove, I will drain them, and I will put them back in this pot. Normally I would do chicken stock. I don't have any of that today, so I'm just going to add more fresh water and then some wonderful bacon grease. And as you can see, hopefully from boiling them like this, even though I have washed them, there's little pieces of things that are popping up. And that is why I do this right before I cook them, after picking directly from the garden. Alright, if you can tell, look how bright green those green beans are. After boiling them, they get such a pretty green. Next thing I'm going to do on my spoon is the bacon grease. I have not put any water in my pan yet. I'm just going to let this bacon grease melt down, coat my beans. Then I'm going to start adding my seasonings. I do have my burner on low right now before I get the water in it. I just want this bacon grease to melt down, get my beans coated. Alright, now I am going to add some chopped onion. I already have onion from our garden chopped up and frozen, so this makes it nice just to be able to sprinkle a little bit in. Get those mixed in. Smelling good already. Right, next I'm going to season them. I'm going to be using some Redmond's real salt. It's organic and it's seasoned. That's going to be nice on these beans. Just enough to coat the top of them. Some people can put in crushed red pepper flakes. Some people will add in some red pepper to their green beans. You can add whatever that you like to your green beans. Now I did use leftover bacon grease. I keep it in my ball jar. But you can use ham slices, you can use bacon. I usually cook my bacon first. Some people don't, depends on how long you're going to cook your beans. Sometimes I use chopped up pieces of ham to put in there. Any of that combination is good with green beans. I do like to cook my green beans in chicken stock, but like I said earlier, I don't have any on hand right now. Need to get myself to the store to get some. But along with the bacon grease, I will put in some Kerrygold butter just to give it a little bit more flavor and richness. And then, once I get that melted down, I will add my water. Alright, so they are sizzling a little bit. I did add some black pepper. And this is the grinding black pepper that I added to it. Alright, now I'm going to add my water. This back this way. And I am going to add enough to cover these beans. They will need to simmer for a while. And how long you simmer them depends on how tender you like your beans. Some people do like them to still have the crunch. Some people will take fresh beans and all they do is simply put them in the skillet and fry them up a little bit with some butter or olive oil, and they stay really crisp. You can do it that way. I do prefer to cook mine a little longer when they are fresh out of the garden. So it is 2:10 in the afternoon right now. I will be cooking these to at least 4. I will come in and taste test, see if I need to add a little bit more salt, a little bit more of the bacon grease, and I need to keep an eye on my water. I want my beans to not burn, so I will come in here and check and make sure. I will add water to it ever so often. When we do get ready to eat, I do want that water to cook down to where the beans are slightly above the water, but there's still enough liquid left in the bottom of your pot that you're not burning your beans. So this is my green bean recipe, and quick recap is I went to the garden, picked just enough for a meal for me and my husband, came straight to the house, I snapped them, I washed them, I put them in this pot with a little bit of water, brought them to a rolling boil, just a minute worth of boiling. I rinse them off again, put them back into my pumpkin pot. Isn't that cute, my pumpkin pot? And then I added the bacon grease to it. I let that coat. Then I added my salt, seasoned salt. You don't have to use seasoned salt, but you can. Then I put a little bit of butter because I didn't have my chicken stock. And then I covered the beans with water. And I added a little bit of ground black pepper. You can use regular pepper too. We are going to bring these to just a soft boil. I'm going to put the lid on. And like I said earlier, I will keep a check. On my beans. So we will see you when they are done. The beans have cooked down. They're above the water. There's just enough liquid left in there so that now I can start the rest of my supper. And by the time the rest of the supper is cooked, these beans will be cooked down a little bit more and be just right. They have cooked down a little bit more. You can see more of the green beans, but you can still see a little bit of liquid there on the bottom. And I got some Kentucky Legend ham frying. Alright, the beans are done. As you can see, there's just a little bit of liquid down there in the bottom. Ham is ready. Alright, supper is ready. Green beans cooked fresh from the garden, Kentucky Legend ham, baked potato with butter and cheese. The potatoes are from the garden, and some cornbread with butter. And we will see you guys next time on Jonesstead Farm.